My fiancée confessed to cheating during our wedding rehearsal in front of everyone. If you told me 3 days ago that I'd be canceling my wedding and sleeping on my best friend's couch with half my life in cardboard boxes, I would have laughed in your face. Now, I can't even look in a mirror without feeling sick. I was supposed to marry Emily this weekend. We'd been together for 5 years. Everyone called us the perfect couple, same goals, same values, no drama. Or so I thought. The rehearsal dinner was Friday night. Emily and I had spent months planning a cozy Italian restaurant. Private room, just 30 of our closest friends and family. I even wrote a short emotional toast to thank everyone for supporting us. That's who I am, thoughtful, maybe a little too sentimental. But I wanted to show her how much this all meant to me. The first half of the night was fine. My parents were mingling with hers. Her sister was live posting the whole thing on Instagram. And my best man, Jordan, was already on his second beer, trying to calm his nerves for his speech. He's not big on public speaking. Then, somewhere between the appetizers and the main course, Emily stood up. She had that look on her face, the one she gets when she's about to say something real. I figured she just wanted to thank everyone too, but her voice was shaky. Her hands trembled as she raised her wine glass. She looked straight at me and said, "Before we start our new life together, I need to be completely honest. I owe that to you, and to everyone here." I felt this strange chill in my spine. The room went quiet. Her mom tilted her head, confused. My dad paused mid-bite. Emily's eyes welled up. Her voice cracked. "I cheated on you. Once. A year ago. I thought it didn't mean anything. I thought I could carry that weight on my own. But I can't. I'm so sorry." At first, I thought I'd misheard her. I blinked a few times, looked around the room like it was a prank or some horrible joke. Then I saw her sister gasp, my mom cover her mouth, and Jordan stand up like he was ready to jump in. But Emily kept going. "It was with someone I barely knew. A stupid, impulsive mistake. I thought if I buried it, it would go away. But every time you said you trusted me, every time you looked at me like I was your forever, it killed me. I couldn't marry you without telling you." She started crying. Big, ugly sobs. She reached for my hand, but I pulled it away without thinking. My whole body had gone numb. "Why would you do this here?" I heard myself say. My voice sounded like someone else. "I didn't want to start our marriage with a lie," she whispered. Too late for that. The room was dead silent, except for her crying. I stood up. My chair screeched against the tile. I remember my mom whispering, "Jake, please." But I was already walking out the door. I didn't even grab my coat. I just walked. Through the parking lot, down the street, across a bridge I don't even remember half of it. My phone buzzed nonstop. Texts from her, her sister, Jordan, even her dad. I turned it off. I ended up at Jordan's apartment 2 hours later, still in my dress shirt and slacks. I rang his buzzer, and when he saw me, he didn't say anything, just opened the door and handed me a beer. I sat on his couch, stared at the wall, and asked the only question that mattered. "Do you think she told me because she loves me, or because she wanted to feel better about herself?" He didn't answer right away. Then he said, "Honestly, both." I woke up the next morning on Jordan's couch with a splitting headache, not from alcohol, just from everything. My phone had 47 unread messages. The first 5 were from Emily, then her sister, then my mom, then Emily again. I didn't open any of them. Jordan was already in the kitchen when I sat up, frying eggs like it was any other Saturday morning. He didn't say anything for a minute. Then, "You want coffee? Or a ride to her place to throw a chair through the window?" I cracked the smallest smile. "Coffee." He nodded, slid a mug across the table. "You know you've got people ready to go full Jerry Springer for you, right? Half the group chat was texting me last night like it was a live crime scene." I took a sip. Did she really think telling me like that in front of everyone would make it better? Jordan shrugged. Maybe she thought it was noble, confessing before saying, "I do." Like some movie scene. But it wasn't a movie scene, I said, bitterness rising in my throat. It was my goddamn life. By noon, I finally looked at the texts. Emily, 11:09 p.m. "I'm so sorry. I didn't know how else to say it. Please, talk to me. I need you to understand." Emily, 11:43 p.m. "I didn't want to lie to you forever. I thought maybe if I was honest now, we could still move forward." Emily, 2:04 a.m. "I love you. I love you so much. Please don't throw us away over this one thing." Her sister had texted too. "Lindsay, she's been crying all night. She was stupid. Yeah, but she told you because she couldn't live with it anymore. That means something, right?" And my mom, ever the peacekeeper. Mom, honey, no one is perfect. We all make mistakes. If you still love her, maybe this can be something you get through together. Even my dad sent a text, which was rare. Dad, you don't have to make any decisions right now, but don't run. Face it. I sat in silence for a long time. Thought about what they said. Thought about what she said. Thought about what I felt when she said it. I wasn't even sure if I felt betrayed as much as I felt embarrassed. She didn't just cheat, she outed me as a fool in front of everyone I care about. And the worst part? She stole my choice. If she had told me in private, I could have processed it. I could have screamed, or cried, or walked away. I would have had control. Instead, she ambushed me. Trapped me between public grace and private rage. I decided I wasn't going to talk to her yet. But I needed answers. Real ones. So I called someone I hadn't spoken to in over a year. Melanie. Melanie was a mutual friend. Well, she used to be. There was a time when she and Emily were close. Then, suddenly they weren't. Emily said it was drama. Melanie was toxic. I never asked questions. Now I wondered if Melanie knew more than I did. She picked up on the second ring. Jake. Yeah. A pause. Wow. What's up? You okay? Not really. She didn't ask why. She just said, "Want to meet up?" We met at a coffee shop near campus. I hadn't seen her in so long it felt like a different life. She still had that same calm, almost too honest vibe. I sat down, looked her in the eye and said, "Did Emily cheat on me?" She didn't even blink. "She told you." She told everyone. At the rehearsal dinner, Melanie winced. Jesus. So it's true. Melanie nodded slowly. Yeah, I found out after it happened. She cried on my couch for like 2 hours. Said it was a mistake, that she hated herself. Then she told me never to mention it again, that if I brought it up our friendship was over. I clenched my jaw. Why didn't you tell me? I wanted to. God, I wanted to. But she shut me out, said it was her burden. And honestly, I thought she would tell you. I figured it would eat her alive. Well, it didn't. Not for a whole year. We sat in silence. Then I asked, "Do you know who it was?" Melanie looked hesitant. "Please." She looked around, lowered her voice. "I don't know his name. Just that he was some guy she met at a marketing conference in Denver. She was there for 3 nights. Said it was a one-time thing. Hotel room, drunk, whatever." I felt physically sick. "She slept next to me the night she got back," I said. "We watched a movie, ate pizza." She didn't say a damn word. Melanie put her hand on mine. "Jake, I'm so sorry. That night, I went back to the apartment we used to share. She was there, sitting on the floor of the living room in one of my old hoodies. When I walked in, she stood up like she wasn't sure if she should run to me or fall on her knees. Jake." I held up a hand. "Don't. I'm not ready to talk. I just came to grab a few things." She looked devastated. "Please, just let me explain." "You already did," I said, walking past her. She followed me into the bedroom. "It was one time. I hated myself for it. I thought if I told you privately, you'd leave me. But if I told you in front of everyone, maybe you'd have to see how serious I was about being honest." I turned to her, cold. "You didn't confess because you love me. You confessed because you couldn't handle the guilt. That's not brave. That's selfish." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. I grabbed a few clothes, my laptop, some chargers. Then I looked at her one last time. "I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not marrying you. Not like this." And I left. The week after I walked out of our apartment felt like walking through fog. Every minute stretched endlessly. I wasn't eating right. I wasn't sleeping. I just kept going over the same scenes in my head like a broken movie reel, her crying at the dinner. Melanie's voice saying, "Some guy in a hotel." My mom asking if love was enough to forgive betrayal. What killed me most was how normal things looked around me. People on the street still smiled at their phones. Joggers still ran past like nothing had changed. Stores still opened. Coffee still smelled good. But for me, time had split in two before the confession. And after it, I wasn't ready to talk to Emily again, but I needed to understand why. Why now? Why not before? So I did something I probably shouldn't have. I opened her texts again. This time I actually read them. "I know I broke your heart. You don't owe me anything, but I told you then because I wanted to build something real. Even if it started with pain. Please don't think I did it to hurt you. I didn't. I swear to God I didn't. I still want to marry you, but if you can't, I'll understand. I'll still love you. I'll always love you. I hated her for writing those words because I wanted to believe them. I wanted to pretend we were still the couple who watched Netflix on rainy Sundays and ordered too much Thai food. But every sweet memory felt tainted now, like someone had poured ink over all our photo albums. 3 days later, Jordan forced me to leave the apartment and go to a bar with him and a few of our mutual friends. He said I needed to be reminded that the world exists outside of one dumb relationship. I didn't want to go, but I was tired of hearing myself think. At the bar, everyone was weirdly careful with me, like I had some invisible broken bone no one wanted to touch. Lisa, one of our college friends, leaned in after a beer and asked, "Do you think you'll forgive her?" I didn't answer right away. Then I said, "I don't even know what forgiveness means anymore." Jordan cut in. "Forgiveness isn't the same as reconciliation. You can forgive her and still leave." Lisa nodded. "Yeah, forgiveness is for you, not for her. But what if I still love her?" I said before I could stop myself. They both got quiet. Jordan looked at me hard. "Then you've got two options. You either rebuild something new with both of you bleeding, or you walk away now and let the wound scar. But if you stay, don't pretend it never happened. That's how you end up resenting her every day for the rest of your life." That night, drunk and raw, I did something else I probably shouldn't have. I texted Emily, "We need to talk. Not about the wedding, about everything else." She responded within a minute, "Name the time and place. I'll be there." We met at a park near our old place. It was cold, and she was already sitting on a bench with 2 coffees when I got there. I didn't take one. She stood up when she saw me but didn't try to hug me. Smart. She looked like hell. Puffy eyes. No makeup. One of her sleeves was pulled halfway down like she hadn't noticed. I sat down. Silence for almost a full minute. Then I said, "I need you to answer some questions. And I need you to be honest. Not performance honest. Real honest." She nodded quickly. "Okay. Did you ever cheat more than once?" "No. Never." "You swear?" "Yes, I swear." "Did you plan to tell me before the wedding, or was this something you thought of last minute?" She hesitated. "I've been thinking about telling you for months, but I kept telling myself it would ruin everything. Then the closer we got to the wedding, the more it ate at me. The guilt was making me sick. So why the public confession?" Emily looked down. "Because I thought if I told you in front of people you wouldn't walk out. I know how that sounds. Manipulative. But I thought it was the only way to say it, and make you stay long enough to hear the whole truth." "Jesus Christ, Emily," I muttered. "You weaponized the moment." "I know," she whispered. "I know how it looks. I wasn't thinking straight." "No, you were thinking very clearly. You were protecting yourself. Not me. Not us. You." She started crying again, but quieter this time. Controlled. Like she knew she didn't have the right to fall apart again. I sat back and stared at the sky. "I loved you so much," I said. "I would have done anything for you. I thought you were the one person in my life who wouldn't lie to me. I didn't think I was worthy of you anymore," she whispered. "Then why didn't you walk away back then?" "Because walking away would have meant losing the only good thing I ever had." That broke me a little, because I believed she meant it. I believed she knew she screwed up in the worst way, and that she hated herself for it. But love doesn't erase betrayal. It just makes it sting more. Before I left, I asked her one last question. "Would you have told me if I never proposed?" She opened her mouth, closed it, then shook her head. "No," she said quietly. "I think I would have buried it forever." I nodded. "Thanks for being honest," I said, and I walked away. The days that followed were somehow worse than the ones before. I had clarity now, but clarity doesn't feel like healing. It feels like the moment the anesthetic wears off during surgery. Everyone wanted an update. My dad asked me to grab lunch. Emily's sister Lindsay left me a voicemail, crying and begging me not to punish Emily for the rest of her life. My coworker Brad, who never gives a damn about anyone, said, "Yo man, if you want to take a few days off, no one's gonna question it." Even Jordan, my best friend, my ride or die since freshman year, started checking in like he was afraid I might do something drastic. But what no one understood was that the worst part wasn't what she did to me. It was what it did to us. Every shared moment was tainted now. Like drinking from a glass you now know had poison in it once, even if it's clean, you still taste the memory. A week after our talk in the park, I got a wedding cancellation email from the venue. Emily had done it. She removed my name from the guest registry, refunded what she could, and handled the fallout. Part of me was grateful it saved me the pain of doing it myself. Another part of me hated her more for taking that away from me too. I had no control over how this ended. Not even that. Then came the envelope. It showed up in my mailbox, no return address, just my name written in her handwriting. Inside was a folded letter. A real letter. Not a text, not an email. She wrote, "Jake, if you're reading this, it means I've stopped trying to convince you to come back. I'm not writing to beg. I'm writing to tell you what I couldn't say to your face. What I did was unforgivable. Not just the cheating, but the way I confessed. I used your loyalty against you. I thought if I made it public, you'd feel obligated to stay. I was wrong. So wrong. You deserved better. I loved you, Jake. I still do. I know people say that a lot, but I don't mean it like a rom-com. I mean it like you were the safest home I've ever known. I was weak. I gave into something stupid and meaningless and destroyed something deep and real. I can't take it back. And I won't pretend I deserve a second chance. If you never speak to me again, I'll understand. But I'll always remember the way you held my hand when I cried. How you laughed at your own dumb jokes. How you made me feel seen when I hated myself. Thank you for that. Thank you for loving me even when I didn't deserve it. I hope one day you find someone who never makes you doubt yourself. Someone who knows what they have when they have you. Goodbye, Jake. Emily." I read it twice. Then I folded it back up and burned it in the sink. The next night, I got a message from someone I didn't expect. Darren, Emily's coworker. The guy she used to mention now and then. "Oh," Darren said the funniest thing today. Darren always brings the weirdest lunches. I used to joke that he had a crush on her and she'd always laugh and say, "Please?" "Darren's like a nerdy uncle." His message said, "Hey man, I don't know if this is crossing a line, but I just found out what happened. I wanted to say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that. I didn't know she was engaged when we hooked up. If I had, I never would have let it happen." Wait, what? I read it again. Then a third time. Hooked up? Emily had told me it was some guy in Denver, a stranger. One time, drunk. Darren wasn't a stranger. He was in her office. Someone I'd met twice. I didn't even hesitate. I called Melanie. "Yo." She answered, groggy. "I need to ask you something and I need you to be honest." "Okay." Was the guy in Denver Darren? She was quiet. Too quiet. "Melanie, I didn't know you knew. Just tell me." She sighed. "It wasn't Denver. That was just the cover story," she told me. "I didn't know who until a month later, when I saw them acting weird at a party. Then I put it together. So she lied to you too?" "I guess so." I felt the anger rise up again, white hot and wild. "Thanks," I said flatly and hung up. I sent Emily a message. "Was it Darren?" She replied in under 10 seconds. "Yes, I'm sorry. That was it. No story, no denial, no more defense. Just yes." That night, I drove. I didn't know where I was going, I just needed to move. I ended up outside the office building where Emily used to work. And there he was, Darren, standing out front, vaping like he didn't just help destroy someone's life. I don't remember deciding to get out of the car. I just remember walking toward him. He saw me, stiffened. "Jake, look, man." I hit him. One clean punch. Not enough to break anything, just enough to bleed. "Now we're even," I said. He didn't swing back, just looked at me like a dog that knew it deserved the kick. I walked back to my car and didn't look back. 3 days later, I moved out of the apartment permanently. Jordan helped me load my stuff into the U-Haul. We didn't talk about Emily. Not once. Just worked in silence, the way men do when the wound is too fresh to poke at. Right before I shut the truck door, he said, "So is that it? You closing the book?" I looked up at our old building, the balcony where she used to water plants barefoot, the window she used to wave from when I came home late. "Yeah," I said. "Book's closed." It's been 6 months. I live in a new apartment now, smaller, quieter. A third-floor walk-up with peeling paint and the occasional cockroach. But it's mine. No more shared toothbrush cups or his and hers towels. Just me, my cheap IKEA furniture, and a ghost that sometimes looks like Emily sitting on the couch with her knees to her chest. I never reached out again. Neither did she. That final message, "Yes, I'm sorry," was the last line in the final chapter of our story. Anything after that would have just been noise. I've been going to therapy. That sentence used to feel like a confession, but now it's just a fact. My therapist's name is Marcy. She has warm eyes and no tolerance for my avoidance tactics. First thing she said to me was, "We're not here to make her a monster, and we're not here to make you a victim. We're here to figure out why the pain still has a voice in your head." I liked her immediately. In one of our sessions, I told her something I hadn't told anyone else. I still miss her. She didn't flinch, just nodded. And I hate that I miss her. Marcy tilted her head. Why? Because it feels disloyal to myself. Like I'm betraying my own pain. She smiled a little. Missing someone isn't the same as forgiving what they did. And love doesn't vanish just because the trust does. You're mourning a future you planned. That takes time. That hit me like a slow punch to the chest. Because it was true. I wasn't just grieving her, I was grieving us. The wedding we planned. The house hunting saved in a shared Pinterest board. The stupid hypothetical baby names. All of it. I wasn't letting go of a woman. I was letting go of a whole life. 3 weeks ago, I ran into Lindsay, Emily's sister, at a farmer's market of all places. She was pushing a stroller. I almost didn't recognize her. Her face changed when she saw me. You know that look someone gives you when they're about to apologize for something they didn't do. We talked. She said Emily was still living in the same place. Working remote. Going to therapy too. She didn't tell me more, and I didn't ask. Then she said, she still hasn't taken off the ring. I stared at her, confused. What? She kept the engagement ring. Wears it on a chain now. Said it reminds her of the best and worst part of her life. I didn't know what to say to that. Eventually, I just said, tell her I hope she's okay. Lindsay nodded. She asks about you sometimes. I don't tell her anything. Good, I said. Keep it that way. Sometimes I wonder what I would have done if she had told me right after it happened. No lies, no performance. Just sat me down and said, I've up. Would I have left then? Maybe. Maybe not. The truth is, it wasn't just the cheating. It was the betrayal of narrative. She let me build a future on a lie. She looked me in the eye while we planned our vows, knowing she'd already broken them. That's the part I couldn't shake. Still can't, really. But here's the thing. I'm not bitter anymore. I'm not angry every day. Not screaming in the car or crying in the shower. I don't flinch when someone mentions weddings, or gag when I see people kiss in public. Some days are still hard, but not all of them. That's progress. A few nights ago, I went on a date. Her name's Camille. She's a nurse. Smart, funny, brutally honest. When I told her I'd just gotten out of a long engagement, she nodded and said, so you're either the most emotionally available man I'll ever meet, or a total landmine. I laughed for the first time in weeks. We've been texting. No labels, no pressure, just possibility. And that's enough for now. Sometimes, I dream about Emily, not in the romantic way. In the way that feels like unfinished business. In one of them, she's standing at the edge of a cliff, staring out at the ocean. I walk up behind her and say, you can't jump without knowing how deep it is. She turns around and says, I already did. And then I wake up. I still have the wedding playlist saved on Spotify. I haven't deleted it. Not because I want to hold on, but because it reminds me of who I was when I believed in forever. And that guy deserves to be remembered. Update 6 months later. People keep asking if I'll ever forgive her. I think I already have. Not because she deserves it, but because I do. Because carrying hate is like drinking poison hoping someone else dies. Because I want to wake up one day and not feel a lump in my throat when someone says her name. Because love doesn't always win. But pain doesn't have to either. And because letting go is not the same as forgetting. Letting go means choosing peace over punishment. So yeah, I forgive her, but I'm never going back. If you like this video, please subscribe for more.